Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news. And for several gamers looking for a next-generation console, it's often been frustrating or even a little annoying at times. It has been very difficult finding an Xbox Series X or especially the PS5. These things have been flying off shelves and scalpers are buying up a lot of stock, and it's just been very difficult. Well, there's been a lot of hope that stock issues would greatly improve after the holiday season, but according to AMD, that might not be the case after all. Yeah, so we're going to go over all of the latest on that here in just a bit. Also, a big PlayStation game may be heading over to the PS5, and we got some Tomb Raider news and what to expect out of its next game. So stay tuned for all of that, but first let's go over some of the quick news. And to start things off, today is actually a pretty busy day in terms of game releases. The Medium and the Yakuza Collection released today on Xbox Game Pass. You all know I'm excited about the Medium, and please everybody, go check out Yakuza. That's an absolutely amazing franchise, and fans of single-player games should not miss out on Yakuza. However, there's also a few demos that came out today that I think everybody should check out. Balan Wonderworld and Immortals Fenyx Rising both got demos today on the Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. Balan Wonderworld is a really fun-looking action platformer coming from the co-creators of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's not being developed by Sega though, but instead, this is actually coming from Square Enix, where they decided to give Yuji Naka a chance to work on an action platformer once again. So Square Enix is taking a chance here, and Yuji Naka gets to make his dream game come true. And from what I've been hearing, the demo is really fun. I haven't gotten to try it out yet myself, but I definitely want to. This game is right up my alley, and when I get the chance, I'm definitely going to pick this one up, as I recommend to you as well. It does seem like this game is going a little bit under the radar right now, but I think it could come away surprising a lot of people with the amount of talent behind this game. I also want Square Enix to continue to invest in games like this. We need more games like this, and this one looks like it's going to be a high-quality game. So again, go check out Balan Wonderworld. As for Immortals Fenyx Rising, I have played this game as it's been out for over a month, and it's surprisingly really good. I actually believe this is one of the best PS5 and Xbox Series games out right now. It's also, of course, available on the Switch, and it fits Nintendo perfectly. It kind of reminds me of Kid Icarus combined with Zelda Breath of the Wild. I didn't know that would be such a great combination, but if you like Breath of the Wild, Immortals is a lot of fun. It's also very humorous with a charming personality. I came away highly impressed by Immortals, and you can now check out the demo to see if you like it yourself. And speaking of new games, Platinum Games is teasing yet another game. Yeah, they've been working on a lot of projects, and some may even argue too many. They of course are working on Bayonetta 3, Babylon's Fall, Project GG, and they released Wonderful 101 Remaster last year. That's a lot of games for a single studio, but it looks like they are working on more unannounced games. This was revealed through their Platinum 4 website, where they were teasing multiple projects last year, and now they've added a fifth. However, more details did come out regarding this fifth game, and it is reportedly a smaller game. I'm actually happy about that though. For one, they're already working on multiple bigger projects, and I'm not really one of those people who only like big AAA games. I just want good games personally, and in fact, two of my favorite games last year were from independent studios, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and then Hades. And that's the thing about Platinum Games. Their games are extremely fun, and they excel when it comes to combat in specific. Yes, both Nier and Bayonetta are among the best hack-and-slash games, but then they also make very creative games such as Astral Chain and Wonderful 101. So anytime they announce a game, big or small, I'm paying attention. We'll have to wait and see what it is, but certainly good news for fans of Platinum Games. Next up, let's talk about Tomb Raider. I'm a big fan of Tomb Raider, so this kind of caught my attention this morning. I did mention this earlier in the year, but yes, you're going to hear a lot about anniversaries in 2021. There's just a lot of big anniversaries in 2021, including Tomb Raider. It is Lara Croft's 25th anniversary, and Crystal Dynamics is planning to celebrate one of the most legendary gaming franchises of all time throughout the year. You should expect some announcements as we go through the year, including a quick video they released today that revealed a few interesting details. So unfortunately, no, they did not have a new Tomb Raider to announce today, but they did speak about the future of the franchise, noting that they want to unify the classic Tomb Raider with the newer trilogy. They said to be patient, as this is a difficult task, but they do envision a future of Tomb Raider unfolding after these established adventures. Yeah, there it is. They didn't exactly announce a game that'd be coming soon, but it does sound like that they are looking to develop the next big Tomb Raider that unifies both classic and modern Lara Croft. I think that alone is worth getting excited for. Crystal Dynamics is a great developer, and I think they did a good job with the reboots. I know the Avengers wasn't perfect, but I'm glad to see them go back to the Tomb Raider franchise. They also announced a new animated Tomb Raider Netflix series. Yeah, Netflix continues to bring in gaming IP. I'm kind of intrigued to see how a Tomb Raider series will work, but let me know what you want to see out of a new Tomb Raider game. Do you like what they've been doing with the reboots, or instead do you want them to make it more similar to the old classics? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. Also, Xbox made a surprise announcement today regarding their first-party game, Bleeding Edge. Bleeding Edge released early in 2020 and is actually a passion project from Xbox's new studio, Ninja Theory. It was built by a small team while they work on other projects such as Hellblade 2 and Project Mara. And that's the thing, they of course have worked on some highly prestigious games such as Hellblade and Devil May Cry in the past, and they are more well known for making single-player experiences. That is why a game like Bleeding Edge was a little surprising, because it is a multiplayer game similar to something like Overwatch, but instead it's driven by melee combat. Well, it never really drew much fanfare, and it just never took off the way they wanted. That's why, as of today, Ninja Theory has officially announced that they will no longer update Bleeding Edge and instead will focus on their other 3 projects. For fans of this game though, no worries, you will still be able to play this game, but development for it has already halted. That's unfortunate, as I have seen fans really enjoy Bleeding Edge, and it's not even been out for a full year. At the same time though, I've been hearing that it's been hard finding games due to the lack of players. I will say this, I think it was cool to see Ninja Theory try something like this. They didn't dedicate many resources to it, it was unique, and as I noted, it was a passion project for the team who was working on it. Sadly, they do have to move on though, but I do expect future Ninja Theory games to have much more success on Xbox. Hellblade 2 looks absolutely amazing, and I'm highly intrigued by Project Mara. This is a very talented studio, but yeah, unfortunately, Bleeding Edge was not a resounding success. Let's talk about Xbox Series and PS5 though. I know a lot of you are still trying to get your hands on one of these consoles, and at times it feels like trying to win the lottery. It's just difficult finding these in stock. However, there's been a lot of hope that stock will improve now that we're no longer in that holiday period, but we're also in unprecedented times, and these consoles are just in high demand. It's hard to predict what exactly is going to happen. Last year, Xbox said they believed that around April, Xbox Series demand will have been met, and that's kind of what we're all clinging to right now. April isn't too far away, so we can surely hold out until then, but AMD actually had something just a little bit different to say. AMD does develop the chips for both the PS5 and Xbox Series, and responding to investors, they expect PS5, Xbox, and PC chip shortages to last through the first half of 2021. This is coming directly from the AMD CEO, Lisa Su, so she knows what she's talking about, and this is what she had to say. It's fair to say that the overall demand exceeded our planning, and as a result, we did have some supply constraints as we ended the year. Those were primarily, I would say, in the PC market, the low end of the PC market, and in the gaming markets. That being said, I think we're getting great support from our manufacturing partners. The industry does need to increase the overall capacity levels, and so we do see some tightness through the first half of the year, but there is added capacity in the second half. So based off this report, next generation consoles and PC hardware could still have some stock issues until the second half of the year. That is a little unfortunate, but not all hope is lost. I have been noticing more frequent supply for both the PS5 and the Xbox Series. Now, I know the PS5 in specific has been really hard to get, and scalpers have been a big issue, but earlier this week we did get some positive information. Over in the UK charts, PS5 software saw a dramatic increase in units sold. It was actually a 324% increase for PS5 physical games. And what that means is that real customers were able to buy a new PlayStation 5 console, and that's why software suddenly saw such a sharp increase. I mean, you're not going to buy a new console and then no new games. That's just not how things work, and this could be attributed to a few different things. Yes, there has been more frequent restocks, but also retailers are doing a better job at getting these consoles in the hands of real gamers and blocking scalpers. As we talked about last week, the retailer Game was canceling orders made by bots and then continued to try and sell them to real customers. That was such a great move, and I hope retailers continue to do that. So I know it's difficult waiting to buy a PS5 and Xbox Series, and stock shortages may continue throughout the year, but I think it will get easier as the months roll by. It's all about meeting that initial demand, and slowly but surely it's getting there. Even on places like eBay, PS5s are dropping in price because demand is slowly being met, and that forces scalpers to drop price as well. Hopefully by the second half of the year though, stock greatly improves so everybody can prepare for that hectic holiday season. Now speaking of the PS5, a big PS4 game might be heading over to the PlayStation 5. This would be The Last of Us Part 2, which I think makes perfect sense. I'll explain why here in just a moment, but this is new information coming from a Restock insider by the name of Navtra. Navtra has proven to have accurate inside information in the past, which is why this is notable, and here's what Navtra had to say. I know a patch was in the work at some point, but I'm not sure if it's still happening or when. I'd be surprised if it doesn't get a patch though. So there it is, and like I said, I think this makes perfect sense. This is a big PS4 exclusive, and regardless if you like the story or not, visually this game looks absolutely stunning. So can you imagine how much better this game's gonna look on the PS5? I mean, this was a late generation release, and there's always been some speculation that it was going to release for the PS5 anyways. In fact, they're still working on a multiplayer game mode. Wouldn't it make sense to release a definitive edition alongside the multiplayer? I just think that makes way too much sense to not do so. I also look at something like Ghost of Tsushima. This was yet another high-profile PS4 release that came at the tail end of the generation. And it is a stunning game on the PS5 thanks to PS5 Boost Mode. You can actually play Ghost of Tsushima on graphics mode at 60 frames per second. It essentially is a PS5 game by this point, and really it kind of surprises me that The Last of Us Part 2 hasn't had a PS5 patch yet. Maybe that's because they're waiting to release that multiplayer mode alongside it. So I would be surprised if it doesn't eventually happen, but now you got a tip from an insider, so great news if you're looking to play The Last of Us Part 2. You know though, if Sony's really looking to do some more PS5 boosted games, let's add Death Stranding to that list. That game looks phenomenal on PC, and I would love to see them bring that over to the PS5 as well. On to our last topic though, the poll of the day. If you missed yesterday's episode, this is a new segment for News Dose, and I asked you all to vote on whether or not you would like to see Nintendo adopt an achievement or trophy system similar to Xbox and PlayStation. I actually thought this would be just a little bit closer, but in a landslide victory, 75% of you all voted that yes, achievements adds to the fun with interesting challenges. And I do agree with the majority on this one. As much as I love Nintendo and their platforms, Nintendo does some odd things from time to time. This is definitely one of them, and with every new console that they make, it always surprises me when they snub achievements and trophies. I always thought that they could add something like a coin system inspired by the Mario franchise. You can complete some kind of task and they get something like 5 coins or 25, and so on depending on the difficulty. Now, I do understand why some people don't really care about this type of feature, but I do think it adds a bit of extra fun, and it also helps you track all of your games. I mean, I can still see games I played way back on the PS3 and Xbox 360 and how much progress I made in each game. To this day, I'm still proud of the select few games that I decide to platinum back on the PS3. I don't do that with many games, but the fact that I can track what games I did that with, I think that's pretty cool. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.